Welcome back. Hopefully everyone is doing well. Palantir has just reported its Q2 earnings report for 2023. As I tweeted out previously, the options chain was implying a move of about 14%. We saw a quick drop off before a recovery so far ahead of Palantir's actual conference call. I just want to run through some of the results that we've gotten and share my thoughts. So, immediately, the headline that we have here about the board authorizing a stock repurchase program of up to $1 billion of the outstanding Class A common stock is a big surprise, a big shock. Personally, I've thought about this before for Palantir. They now have over $3 billion in cash, but it's a bit confusing when you know the stock has actually increased by over 100% year to date, and it's not like their cash position has changed that much. So my read on this is, of course, they have a better sense of profitability now than they did 3 quarters ago. However, I do think it definitely the market's optimism is playing into their desire to announce a stock repurchase program. So I don't think it's entirely a sign that Palantir thinks their shares are currently undervalued. Consider what many people are saying. Authorized does not mean Palantir will buy at the current price. Of course, they can buy it if the market cap drops lower. They have full authorization. I'll show you this in a moment. But of course, it's not a bad move overall, and they've had billions of dollars in treasuries and so on. So it's good to at least get this authorized and announced to the market and essentially put in a floor, if you will, if the stock were to fall further. So here, if from their 8K is the announcement that the board had authorized this of the Class A common stock. So the timing and the amount will be determined by Palantir's management. And what's interesting here is they say based on factors including achieving an additional quarter of profitability. So if we do see Palantir buying stock, it would probably be only if they do achieve another quarter of profitability, which they've said that they will. So no surprise there. And the repurchase program is expected to be executed through open market transactions. Once again, no surprises on that. And they'll do it in accordance with securities laws. And the repurchase program has no mandated end date and no minimum purchase commitment. So they're not saying that they're going to completely buy $1 billion worth of shares. They're not saying when they're going to do it. They're not going to saying how much or when it's going to happen, anything like that. And it's dependent upon management's assessment of a variety of factors of the business, the market conditions. Obviously, they have to put this sort of thing in there and the securities laws once again. So it does not obligate them to purchase and repurchase any particular amount of common stock, and it may be suspended or discontinued at any time without prior notice, blah, blah, blah. So again, thoughts on the repurchase program. I've thought about Palantir buying back shares before. I don't know if I've mentioned it in many videos, but my thoughts are it was obviously going to happen eventually. I'm not saying I predicted it was going to happen this quarter, but I do find it curious that they've had billions of dollars in cash. They've used that really as a reserve, and they weren't interested in buying back this stock when it was below the DPO price, but now they're interested in buying it in the $20 range. Seems curious to me. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Once again, obviously it's a good signal. I bought more stock when I saw the announcement, but it is a good way to counteract the stock-based compensation. However, it's a bit of a interesting dynamic if you're issuing shares to employees while also buying back stock. The compensation structure is fairly interesting, but Palantir is getting more mature. And as we've talked about before, the pendulum between high growth and profitability has swung from growth to profitability. They only grew 13% this year on a quarterly basis for revenue. So certainly we're looking more at a company that's maturing. Hopefully they can get their growth going again. I know the company is very excited about AIP and other programs, but certainly the growth did not materialize this quarter. Otherwise, all in line with their targets. The big surprise here being that $1 billion buyback. They're expecting more profitability going forward. Everything else looks fairly good in line. Again, the growth rates could have been higher, but the customer count grew 38% year over year, and they've raised their actual guidance for revenue of $2.212 billion now, and raising their adjusted income for operations. And you can read more about this on Palantir's website. I'm going to go ahead and get this video live before the conference call. So hopefully my thoughts are helpful. Again, an inline quarter with the financials, a surprise stock repurchase program that I find a bit interesting. Why it's happening now if not to capitalize on the interest in Palantir and AI in general. So I'm looking forward to more commentary there as well as your thoughts. So let me know in the comments below. Until next time.